Okay, good afternoon. So I had already shared the agenda for the day on email sent yesterday. So today we are going to discuss about the following 4 topics. That is 9 valued logic in VLSI. Why prefer standard logic over bit data type? What is the vector data type? And how to generate waveforms using VHDL. So the fourth topic, that is waveform generation using VHDL. This topic is not relevant to VHDL modeling, but it is relevant to test benching. That is, whenever after synthesizing a VHDL model, we want to simulate it. At that time, we have to write a test bench, which is another VHDL program. So in that program, there is nothing but generating waveforms using VHDL. So 9 valued logic in VLSI. So we will go back about 2 years to your subject of digital electronics. Okay. So if I ask this question, how many values can the output of a digital system have? Okay, so this is the question to all who are present in the class. So anybody who feels that they know the answer can actually unmute themselves and answer. Okay, the question is, how many values can the output of a digital system have? Yeah, so you can tell the answers and I will mark them here. Yeah, anybody who feels they know the answer should actually answer.
Sir, only two, 1 and 0.
Pardon? Yeah.
Sir, two values, 1 and 0.
Can you be little louder? Yes, I'm not able to hear you. Yes.
Sir, 1 and 0.
Very good. So an answer has come. So the first answer is two values, that is 1 and 0. We also call them as true, false. Also call them as high, comma, low. Okay, many have. Some more answers. Yeah, some more. Yes.
Sir?
Yeah, so according to me, answer number 1 is incomplete answer. It is not false. It is true, but it is not complete. Yes. Next.
So anything in the powers of 2, like 2, 4, 16, and so on?
No, that is not possible. No. Yeah, some more answers. So answer number 1 is true, but it is incomplete. And the answer number 1 is actually a first year answer. If you ask this question to a first year student at the end of first year after studying basic electronics engineering, this is the answer he will give. But I want more advanced answers. You are in final year now. Yes, some more.
Sir, we have something called as noise margins. These are actually analog values, and we have defined
No,
it.
sorry. This is too much of a deviation. These are digital values. How do you say these are analog? Analog means there are infinite number of values. These are binary. These are digital. 1 means it is equal to supply voltage and 0 means equal to ground. Please correct your understanding. I have already said that outputs of digital system. How can digital system have analog outputs? It has to be digital. And when I say 1, true and high, it is equal to VCC or VDD. And when I say 0, false or low, it is equal to ground. Yes, please. Some more.
Sir,
I told you.
it will depend upon the bus width. If it is 2, the one output is
Your voice is
bus
breaking.
width is 2, then 4. Bus width, so it will depend upon the bus width of the output.
No, you are not getting the question, it seems. This is not expected from final year student. Getting me, na? Got the point? It is not possible. If you draw the output waveforms of a counter, then the counter's output, individual bits of the counter are either at 0 and 1. And if the counter state is equal to 9, then the outputs are Q3, Q2, Q1, Q0 is equal to 1001. That means Q3 bit is at logic 1. The next two are at ground 0. And the last LSB bit is again at logic 1. Okay, you are missing the point. I cannot proceed. I cannot start teaching 9-valued logic if you do not know what is lower than that. You are missing one important point. Yes.
Sir, there is high impedance state.
Very good. So the next level of answer for this question is actually 3 values. So answer is 1, 0, and it is Z. Okay, so we've added the high impedance state. What is another name for high impedance state? And you have to justify why it is called high impedance. Yeah. What is another name for high impedance? You will be able to answer this question if you know.
Tri-state.
No.
Tri-state.
No. That's okay, fine. I want a more precise answer which actually tells you something about the output terminal. Okay, if you know that how does a digital system's output come as logic 1? How does the digital system's output come as logic 0? Only then you will be able to tell me that how the output of digital system actually comes out to be high impedance. What is another name for high impedance? Yes, this is it. It is called as floating. The output is floating. So when I say output is floating, that means the output is Z or high impedance state. So what are the other two equivalents of this output? So when I say output is high impedance, it means output terminal is floating, and floating means it is neither connected to VCC nor to ground. What the point? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so now, so because it is not clear, I will actually explain this using, and that was actually my intention. So what we will do in order to understand that how is it that the output of a digital system actually comes out to be logic 1, which we say that it is equal to plus VDD volts. So when we say that the output of digital system is logic 1, then you have to speak about how many volts. When I say output of digital system is equal to logic 0, I have to say how many volts. And that is where the entire concept of noise margin comes, which one of you mentioned now. Okay, so in a second year, maybe you had studied that for the older digital systems, logic 1 is from 3.5 volts to 5 volts. Okay, if your biasing voltage is equal to 5 volts and logic 0 goes from 0 to 1, that means what? If the output of digital system, that means if you put a voltmeter at the output terminal, then if you get a voltage anywhere from 3.5 to 5, then you have to conclude that the output is high. And if the voltmeter shows any value which is between 0 and 1 volts, you can conclude that the output is equal to logic 0, or it is low, or it is false. So let us understand that how this floating concept has come about. Okay, let us consider a CMOS inverter here. Okay. So consider a CMOS NOT gate. Purposefully I took CMOS NOT gate because it is a CMOS digital system. Okay. Because it is CMOS, I'll be using one PMOS transistor and one NMOS transistor. I will tie the gates together, and here will be my V in and here will be my V out. Okay, fine. So we know that V out. So V out is equal to V in bar. Okay, this is the functionality of this system. Okay, so now when my V in is equal to logic 0, okay, that means I will connect the V in terminal to ground physically. Okay, so in electronics, whenever you speak about logic, then you have to also speak in terms of equivalent voltages. So if I connect this to ground, that means apply logic 0, what will happen is that the PMOS gate is having a bubble. That means it is an active load device. That means for equal to 0, what will happen is that this guy will become on and it will act as a short circuit. Okay, and because at the gate of the NMOS I have not shown a bubble, that means it is active high device. So for this guy will act as open circuit, right? So we have something like this here. Okay, so you see here what is happening. What is happening is this, that when Vin equal to 0, PMOS is on, acts as short circuit, NMOS is off, acts as open circuit, and the output terminal, this output terminal is now getting connected to VDD. You're getting me? That is why we get output equal to 1. Okay, so what do we conclude? That the output of a digital system is equal to 1 when output terminal gets connected to plus VDD. Okay, so because output node is getting connected to VDD through the conducting PMOS, that is why I get output equal to 1. Let us take case number 2. Okay, so now case number 2 is that if Vin equal to 1, that means I'm connecting it to VDD. In such a case, what will happen is that the situation will reverse. Okay, in this case, because input is 1, PMOS is active low device, that is why PMOS will become off. It will act as open circuit. NMOS will become on, act as short circuit, and that is why what will happen is this. The output node will now get pulled down to ground. Okay, so here the output will now become equal to 0 because when output terminal gets connected to ground. Okay, so please understand this thing, that when I say that output of a digital system is equal to 1, that means the output node is getting pulled up to VDD. When I say output of digital system is equal to logic 0, that is because the output node is getting pulled down to VSS. So after this thing, now we can speak about what do you mean a floating. In case of floating condition, what will happen is that both PMOS and NMOS are off. Okay, so floating condition is when both PMOS and NMOS are off, Vout gets connected to neither VDD nor ground, and that is called as a high impedance state. So if you connect an ohm meter between Vout and VSS, you will get infinity or out of range kind of reading. Okay, so now we can write down it like this. So if somehow for both values of V in, both PMOS and NMOS are off. Okay, output terminal gets is disconnected from both plus VDD and ground. Thus, output is said to be floating or Z. This is how it is. Somebody may say that how is it possible? For both values of V in, one of the PMOSs has to be on. No, there is something called as a tri-state NOT gate. So please understand one thing, that whatever transistor level schematic we have drawn above, this is called as a conventional NOT gate. Okay, conventional means what? Output equal to 1 or 0. There is something called as you told, tri-state NOT gate. Okay, so what we will do, we will draw the symbol for the above this thing. So for the above this thing, it is simply like this. So the symbol for this circuit is V in and V out. Okay, a variation of the above is this. Tri-state NOT gate. Okay, the symbol is like this. So here input is V in, output is V out, and this is enable. Okay, this is an active high enable. So if you want to make the truth table, it is something like this. So for this conventional NOT gate, the truth table is simply like this. Zero. And for tri-state NOT gate, because it is active high enable, that is why the truth table takes the form like this. We have to add the signal En and we have V out. Okay, and in this case, if enable is 1, V out is equal to complement of V in. If enable is 0, it is equal to Z state. Okay, so in the subsequent lectures, we will actually draw the transistor level schematic of a tri-state NOT gate, which also happens to be one of the exam assignment, extra assignments. We tell the students in the VLSI practical exam to draw the schematic for a tri-state NOT gate, which is not there in the university syllabus. There you will come to know. Okay, so what we do is that if it is an active high enable, then what we do is that we put one PMOS between this PMOS and the output terminal, and we put one more NMOS above. So we put one PMOS below the original PMOS and we put one NMOS above the original NMOS. And what happens is that when enable equal to 0, in that case, what happens is that the PMOS, the additional PMOS and additional NMOS, both of them become open circuited. That is why the Vout cannot connect to either VDD or ground. Okay, we will not speak up much on this, but I felt that at BE level, you should be knowing that how come a digital system gives the output equal to 1 and 0. That is because output terminal gets connected to VDD or to ground. And when it gets connected to neither VDD or ground, then we say that output is high impedance, or it is called as floating or tri-state. Okay, now we proceed to the topic of 9-valued logic. Okay, so after discussing, we came to know that digital does not mean 2 values. Actually, it means 3 values. Is it okay? One step further, a third answer can actually be a don't care. Is it not? We studied when you solved K-maps in second year, then when you say don't care condition, that means what? Whatever value is suitable for pairing as per the K-map pairing rules, you can assume don't care denoted as X as either 0 or 1. Okay, the same thing also comes here. Anyways, we are not here to discuss second year digital electronics. We are here to discuss about what is 9-valued logic. So we'll go further. Okay, now one more important thing you see here, I will just tell you, is that when I have written, okay, when I have written here that Vout equal to logic 1 when output terminal gets connected to plus VDD. Now please understand one thing, that output terminal is getting connected to VDD through PMOS. Output terminal is getting connected to VSS through NMOS. Now please understand one thing, that I can connect output terminal to VDD even through an NMOS if it is a pure NMOS logic. Similarly, I can connect output terminal to ground through PMOS also. Why? Because in digital circuit, transistors act merely as semiconductor switches. That means ultimately the question is connecting the output node to VDD or connecting output node to ground. So I can use either PMOS as a switch to connect output terminal to VDD. I can also use NMOS as a switch to connect output terminal to VDD. Similarly, if I want to connect output terminal to ground, I can use a PMOS instead of NMOS. Because this is a CMOS logic, that is why coincidentally, according to definition of the logic family, we are having a PMOS between Vout and VDD, and we are having an NMOS between output and ground. So we will come to know why this particular arrangement is there. A question can be asked that can I replace this PMOS? Can I replace this PMOS with NMOS? And can I replace NMOS with PMOS? What will happen to the output? Somebody may say, sir, kuch nahi hota hai. No, it doesn't happen. The outputs will degrade. Okay. So understand one thing, that I'll make a statement. PMOS gives a strong one and weak 0. NMOS gives a weak 1 and strong 0. We are gradually developing the concept of 9-valued logic. Okay, so now after seeing this statement, we come to know that till now I was thinking that output of a digital system is 1 and only 1. But no, now we come to know that because PMOS, that is because NMOS gives a weak 1. That means we have one more flavor of 1. And we also saw that PMOS gives a weak 0. That means we understand there is one more flavor of 0. So we understand that 1 is of two types, strong 1, weak 1. Similarly, 0 is also of two types, that is strong 0 and weak 0. Why this has come about is this. Okay, let us consider a system wherein I am using a PMOS as a switch. Okay, and I have to connect point A in electrical space to point B in electrical space, and here I am having a control signal, okay, which can be 1 and 0. Okay, and please understand that this guy needs a 0 to become on. Okay, now I have to connect the point A in electrical space to point B in electrical space, and these 2 points are separated by a PMOS switch. Okay, so now I know that I am having 2 possibilities. Okay, so okay. So now what I'm doing is that I'm having the electrical point A, which can be connected to either logic 0 or logic 1. Okay, so now if I'm applying a logic 0 here at A, and if I give a 0 at the gate of PMOS, what will happen is that this guy will act as short circuit. So what will happen is that because it is acting as a switch, the 0 will go here. Okay, the 0 will go here. Okay, if I connect the point A through this single pole double throw switch to 1, what will happen is that the 1 has to go here. Okay, the problem is this, that when point A is 0 and PMOS is on, what we get at B, we get VB equal to exactly minus VSS. Okay, so let us first define that what are strong ones and strong zeros. Okay, so please understand one thing. This is little analytical, but you have to bear. Okay, so when V out equal to exactly plus VDD volt, it is called as a strong one. When V out is less than plus VDD volt, it is called as weak one. Okay, so similarly, when V out is equal to VSS or it is 0 volt, we say it is strong 0, and when V out is actually greater than 0 volts, that it is positive, then we say that it is a weak 0. Okay, so to explain things more statistically, we will actually draw all 4 levels here. So what we do is that we assume that 180 nanometer process is used to fabricate the above CMOS inverter. For 180 nanometer, VDD is always equal to 1.8 volts. That's standard. Okay, so using VDD as 1.8 volts and VSS as 0, we can actually define both types of ones and zeros. Okay. Okay, so here we put markers. Zero. Okay, and little below we put a marker. Okay, so now you put one more marker, maybe which color, this color. Okay, so this is strong one, weak one, strong 0, weak 0. Okay, so now somebody may ask a question that, sir, what is the difference here? Is it assumed arbitrary? No. How much is the difference between strong one and weak one? Please note that who creates a weak one? NMOS is responsible for a weak one. So we'll encircle the bad values. Okay, so these are the bad values. See, so these are the bad values. So weak 0 is bad and weak 1 is bad. And what is good? This is good. Okay, this is good. The strong 1 is good. Okay, we never wrote a strong 0, right? Yeah, very sorry. Okay. Nobody noted also. Strong 1, weak 0, weak 1 and strong 0. So this is good. Okay. So weak 0 is given by PMOS and weak 1 is given by NMOS. So we are speaking about PMOS now. So because PMOS is responsible for weak 0 or a bad 0, that is why this particular difference which is there, this thing is actually equal to the threshold voltage of PMOS. Okay. And because weak 1 is given by NMOS, so NMOS is responsible for weak 1. That is why the difference between strong 1 and weak 1 is the threshold voltage of the NMOS transistor. Okay, that is why this difference is equal to VTP. Okay, so where VTP and VTN are the threshold voltages of PMOS and NMOS respectively. Okay, yeah, and so when A is equal to 0, PMOS is on, then what we get at the output is at B, what we get at B is minus VSS, that is actually 0 volts, plus VTP. So what we get is a weak 0. Okay, and when A equal to 1, PMOS equal to on, then B is equal to VDD, that is we get a strong 1. Okay, so zeros are transmitted as bad zeros and ones are transmitted as bad ones. A question may be asked, sir, can input be bad? No, inputs are always strong. Please understand one thing. Inputs are always pure. Okay, that means input is always strong 1 and strong 0. But outputs can get contaminated because of the type of device which is used as a switch. Okay, so I know that today we will not be able to cover all the topics. Already 40 minutes are gone, but it is very, very important. Okay, so similarly, we can use NMOS as a switch. Okay, using NMOS as a switch. So here we again have our electrical point in space A. We have the electrical point in space B, but in between both of them, we are now having an NMOS transistor. And here same control signal is there, 1 and 0. And here again same thing, through a single pole double throw switch. I can either connect it to 0 or 1. Okay, so if this is 0 and we put a 1 here because it is an active high device. So if I have connected point A to ground and NMOS is on. Okay, so at B we have exactly equal to VSS. So we are having a strong 0 at the output. If A is now connected to VDD and again NMOS equal to on, then we will have B equal to plus VDD minus threshold voltage of NMOS. So it will be a weak 1 at the output. Okay, fine. This is what it is bad. Okay, fine. So somebody may say, sir, can you give us a practical demonstration of that? Yes, I can give a practical demonstration of that. So to give a demo and to appreciate that how PMOSes give a strong 1 and a weak 0, and an NMOS gives a strong 0 and a weak 1. I will switch over to the microwind tool where already I have made a layout for that. Okay, so it will become more clear. So are you able to see the interface of microwind?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So already I am having a layout made, and I have named this particular layout as important concepts, and we have PMOS and NMOS analysis here. So we will see here. Okay. Oh, it's there actually, it's not coming. Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, it's here. Fine. So here I'm having the layout, and I'll just explain what I've actually drawn here. It is visible now. You are seeing something in the workspace.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I'll just explain.
Yes, sir.
So you see here to the left, it is a PMOS transistor. So it is in a fluorescent green well, which is N well. So to the left, we are having a PMOS transistor, and to the right, we are having a similar structure, but it is not embedded within that well. That is a NMOS. Now carefully see what kind of signals I have given. So what basically I want to show you to you that when the same kind of input is given to both PMOS and NMOS, then they give different output. That means if the input to PMOS is 1, its output is strong 1, and the output of NMOS is a weak 1. If I give the input 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 as logic 0, then the output of PMOS is a weak 0, but output of NMOS is a strong 0. Okay, so please remember one thing, that when 1 is applied to PMOS as an input, the output is equal to plus VDD volts, that is strong 1. If 0 is applied as an input to PMOS, the output is slightly more than 0 volts, that is it is a bad 0 or a weak 0. Similarly, if you give the input to an NMOS equal to logic 1, the output is slightly less than logic 1, which is actually weak 1. If you give 0 as an input to NMOS, you give a strong 0. Okay, so what I've done is that I have kept both PMOS and NMOS on for the same duration of time. Okay, so the same time interval PMOS and NMOS are kept on intentionally, and in the input I have given a clock signal, and you will understand what I mean. Okay, so I'll simply run the simulation now. So what I will do, I will remove all the measurements here. fine. Okay, so the topmost waveform is the input signal. It is it is going from 0 1 0 1 like that. The VGS-N is actually the control signal for NMOS. VGS-P is the control signal for PMOS. And as I told you that NMOS is an active high device. So as long as this VGS-N will be equal to 1, so during this, so from this point to this point, my NMOS is on. And if you see during the same interval, I have given 0 to the gate of PMOS. You see here, so during the same interval, my VGS-P is equal to low. So from this point to this point, because the gate signal to the PMOS is 0, so PMOS is on. Okay, so from this point to this point, both NMOS and PMOS are on. Let us see what are the outputs. So the fourth signal is the output of NMOS. You see here. So you see here, input is equal to 0. So take this point. Okay, so here the input signal to NMOS is 0, and see what is output. Okay, so output is exactly equal to 0 volts. So we are getting a strong 0 at the output. Now you see here, here the input is equal to 1, and see what is output. The output is little less, and it is clear here, it is 0.83 volts. So you see here carefully that my CMOS inverter has been fabricated using 120 nanometer technology, for which the VDD is equal to 1.2 volts. So whenever you see that output is equal to 1.2 volts, it is strong 1. When it is slightly less than 1.2, it is weak 1. When output voltage is equal to exactly 0 volts, then output is said to be strong 0, and if it is slightly above 0 volts, it is said to be weak 0. Okay, so we can see that here. Okay, yeah. So input equal to 1, NMOS is on, and for 1 as an input, the output is equal to 0.83. So it is very clear that NMOS is giving strong 0 and weak 1 at the output, because the output of NMOS is never reaching 1.2 volts. If you see the fourth waveform is output of PMOS. So again, analyze the same thing. So here, if we say that the input is equal to 0, what is the output of PMOS? You see here, input is 0 volt and output is slightly above 0. That means it is weak 0. Similarly, at this point, if we see the input is equal to 1, and we see for PMOS output is 1. You see here, so this thing is weak 1, this thing is strong 0, this thing is strong 1, this thing is weak 0. So it is very, very clear that during the interval from this point to this point, NMOS is remaining on. During the same interval, my PMOS is remaining on. When input to the NMOS is 1, the output is weak 1. When input to NMOS is 0, output is 0 volt, that is strong 0. Similarly, when same input goes to PMOS, when input is equal to 1, output is equal to 1. That means PMOS gives a strong 1. And when input is equal to 0, the PMOS gives output which is slightly raised above 0 volts, that is equal to weak 0. So this particular simulation is very classic, and it actually shows how PMOS and NMOS, they give strong 1 and strong 0 respectively, but they give weak zeros and strong ones at the output. Okay, is this clear? Everybody? I hope that this simulation has clarified the entire theory.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So this simulation was not available on the net, and it was not even available in the books, but based on what was the definition of strong ones and weak zeros, I just thought and I made it, and it worked very well actually. Okay, fine. So I'll close this now. Okay. I know that the explanation was very lengthy. Yeah, so no problem. We may not be able to partially even complete the topic number 1. No problem. We are not in a hurry. The concept should actually go deep into your system. That is what my motivation is. Okay. So now we have understood that there are 2 flavors of ones. So now we will start writing which are the 9 values. Okay. So okay, fine. Now I'm changing the word VLSI system. I'm not telling a digital system. I'm telling a VLSI system. The 9 values at the output of a VLSI system can be. Okay. Now I will say here, I'll make tables. Symbol and what is the name for that value. Okay. So we'll write down 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So when we use this thing, the name is strong 1. When you write down H for high, it actually indicates it is a weak 1. When I write down our classical 0, actually I mean it is indicating strong 0. When I use L for low, I am referring to weak 0. Then I have something called as X. So X is not don't care. X was defined as don't care in second year. But in 9-value logic, X is known as strong unknown. Okay, it actually means it can either be strong 1 or strong 0. When I say it is W, it actually means it is weak unknown. That means in this case, it can either be a weak 1 or a weak 0. Weak unknown. Okay. Then comes our Z, that is high impedance as usual. And 2 more. And this is called as U, that is uninitialized. This you will see when we learn writing test benches. So this especially is shown by the tool when you write a VHDL model for a counter. Say we write a VHDL model for a 3-bit up counter, and when we write a test bench, and when you run the test bench at that time, it initially shows U. That means it is uninitialized. So in the VHDL model in the architecture body, I have to initialize the output of 4-bit counter to 0000. Only then it will start incrementing from 4 zeros towards 4 ones. So that is where we appreciate the importance of this particular value, that is uninitialized. And last is this thing. So what you called as don't care in second year, the same thing is denoted by minus or a hyphen here. Okay, so this is actually don't care. Okay, so we have 2 flavors of 1. We have 2 flavors of 0. That takes our count from 1 to 4. Then we have 2 types of unknowns, high impedance, uninitialized, I don't care, right? So strong 1, weak 1, strong 0, weak 0, strong unknown, weak unknown, high impedance, uninitialized, and don't care. Okay, so I'll put some comments here for strong unknowns and weak unknowns. So okay, so strong unknown means it can be strong 1, similarly weak unknown means it can be weak 1 or weak 0. Okay, so another name for this 9-valued logic is also called as multi-valued logic system. Okay, so if you read internet and search Google 9-valued logic, you'll also get the name here as multi-valued logic. And please understand this thing, that 1164. So the data type which supports 9 values is nothing but, yeah, so I'll not write it here because it is initial. I will just make a comment here that This is known as multi-valued logic in VLSI, and this particular logic is supported by the data type standard underscore logic, and standard underscore logic data type is the above 9 valued logic. Okay, is it clear? That is why somebody may say, what is the utility? So as such, ones, zeros and z's, that is strong 1, strong 0 and high impedance can actually suffice the functionality of a digital system. But especially in integrated circuits, when we use PMOSs and NMOSs at different places, so that is because there is a possibility of PMOS giving a weak 0 and there is a possibility of NMOS giving a weak 1. That is why we have to have a data type within VHDL which supports this 9 valued system. So we can say that multi-valued logic was devised to model functionality of certain ICs which use PMOSs and MOSs separately. Okay. Last but not the least, as you see in this CMOS inverter, because we are using a combination of PMOS and NMOS, that is why CMOS inverter will actually give us, CMOS inverter will give us both strong 1. Why? Because output terminal is getting connected to VDD through PMOS, and PMOS is very famous for transmitting ones. That is why this system gives us output strong 1 and it also gives a strong 0. Okay, why? Because output terminal is getting connected to ground through NMOS. Okay, so if we shift or if we swap PMOS with NMOS here, and if we swap NMOS and PMOS here, so what we'll get is that in some cases we will get weak 1 and strong 0. In another case we will get strong 1 and weak 0. Okay, that is why CMOS systems are used. No issues. So I'll have to erase the remaining 3 topics. We'll cover it next time. Okay. We have 2 more minutes. Anybody has any questions on the discussion we had today? Yes, anybody has any doubts? Okay. There are only 31 students.
Then the bit logic, it has only 2 values, right?
You are right, Chandan.